Good people, good people, good people. Welcome back to the Gumtown Podcast, episode 152. I'm Doug B. If you tuned in to this podcast, thank you for your time and your attention. I really appreciate you giving it a shot. Today's guest is the owner and operator of Riding Platinum Party Bus. I'm looking forward to this conversation, and I'm sure we'll all be inspired by his story. Let's chop it up with Mark Grant. Mark, how's it going, man?
Hey, it's going great. How about you?
Glad to hear that, and all is well on my end, too. First things first, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to chop it up with me. I really appreciate it.
Hey, man, thanks for the invite.
Yes, sir. Of course, here to talk about all the great things you got going on with the Riding Platinum Party Bus. But before we go there, let's get to know the man behind the brand. Born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida. What was your upbringing like?
Oh, man, it was, two household parent, man, mom and dad, man, just laid back, chill, not really a strict environment, but, definitely an environment that kept me grounded and put me where I am today.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds like you had that family structure, and like you're telling me offline, dad served in the military, so you definitely had that discipline and one no games being played in the household,
Oh,
huh?
oh, no, no game, no game. Mom controlled everything.
Okay, all good. Hey, teamwork made the dream work.
That's right.
All right. So just in terms of Jacksonville, Florida itself, I've been there once. I haven't. Yeah, I spent a couple of days there. So just what's that city like?
Oh man, Jacksonville is kind of wild, man. I mean, you got a lot going on, a lot of factories going on, and a lot of beach life, a lot of nightlife. It's just a typical town, man. It's no different than Montgomery.
Okay, sounds good. So it sounds like when you made the move from Jacksonville to Montgomery, it wasn't too much of a culture shock for you.
No, no, not too much. Besides coming down here dealing with cows and chickens, never seen that in Florida.
That's, yes, sir. So it's and of course I know. Is it like in Jacksonville? Is the weather always beautiful year round like it is in South Florida?
No, man, Jacksonville, since it's so close, to the southern border, it's really typical weather for Jacksonville. It's just like the typical weather here, man. We got cold winters and hot summers. So it's not like down there in Miami where it's, in December you can get in the water.
Okay, sounds good. Makes sense. And how old were you when you made your way up to Montgomery?
I came to Montgomery, man. I was about I'll say probably about 10 years old.
Okay, so
About,
from 10
about
years
10.
old
Yeah.
all the way to adulthood, you so it sounds like you finished up high school and all that good stuff here in Montgomery.
Well, I went back to Jacksonville once I got to be a teenager and lived with my dad and went to school there. And once I got out of school, then I moved back to Montgomery, and this is where I've been. Besides going home on vacations just to visit the family, but I've been pretty much grounded right here in Montgomery from getting out of school to doing what I'm doing now in my adult life.
Okay, sounds good. So you finished up school in Jacksonville, make your way back up here. So when you finished up high school and all that good stuff in Jacksonville, did you do military, college, or you went right to work?
Well, I tried to do a little college, man, and it didn't work out for me, man. Being in a single household family after my mom and dad separated and divorced, so I had to get out there and work, man, and make sure that the family was taken care of, and you know get the things that I needed without having to go out in the street and hustle for it.
I definitely understand that, and no knock on that. College is what it is. I mean, it's for some people, and for others, they decide that it's just not for them, and that's okay. I like the fact that you were able to pivot and get into the workforce, and like you said, do it the legit way, because ain't nobody got time to be getting locked up, you know.
And you can say that again.
Yes, sir. That's good stuff. So, present day, you are the founder, owner, and operator of the Riding Platinum Party Bus. What got you into this space, Mark?
Well, man, I had a friend of mine, man. He's an older guy, ex-Marine, and he used to own a coach bus company. And he had a couple of buses over at his office. And I was just joking around one day and say, hey, man, sell me one of those buses. And he said, okay. And I was just joking, walked off. And every time I saw him, man, he gave me that look like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? So finally one day, one of his workers took me out on the bus. We drove it. I liked it. I got back to his office. He handed me the keys and said, make it do what it do. So here we are now, riding platinum.
Okay, wow, what an organic story. So you was talking that talk, and Sounds like the guy he made you put your money where your mouth was because you were
Yeah, he
joking.
did. Yeah. I was just joking, man. Just shooting a willy with him, man. And every time I saw him, he gave me that look like, "What you gonna do? What you gonna do?" Then one day he said, "You got an opportunity. I'm giving you an opportunity. What do you want to do?" He put the keys in my hand, and I went to work designing the bus.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. So, just overall, what can one what can one expect to experience by riding on the riding platinum bus? What kind of atmosphere you got going on with that party bus?
Oh man, riding platinum, man, is an experience out of this world, man. It's freedom. You get on the bus, man, with your family and your friends, man. You can let go, turn on the music, man. You can karaoke, you can laugh, you can joke, you can dance, and just enjoy the surroundings of, riding down the interstate, or even if I do a local ride, just being on the bus, man, and just enjoying yourself.
Okay, sounds good. Family friendly environment. Sounds like it's a no nonsense type of situation with that bus. I love to hear those type of stories.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, sounds good. So take us back to your first paid client, the first person that booked the Riding Platinum Party bus. What was the experience and what was the outcome?
Man, it's funny you say that. She's booked again for next month on the 3rd, which will be August the 3rd. She was my first ride when I first got my business license and I first put the bus on the street. She was my first rider. She called me up. She loaded that thing down with about 37 people, which that was too many, but we still had a good time, man. And we put that bus on the road for 3 hours, man. And everybody got off that bus. They enjoyed themselves. Some of them was walking a little crooked when they got off the bus, but overall, everybody had a great time.
Okay, wow. So you had an overflow on that very first ride.
Yeah, yeah.
You had too many people, but hey, that's a good problem to have. And it sounds like the fact that she's rebooking sounds like she had a great experience, and that's what it's all about, those repeat customers, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. They enjoyed themselves, man. Like I said, it was a little overbooked, but that was a learning experience for me. That was my first ride. I had just started the bus, so I didn't really know the ins and out of capacity on the bus. And once we got past that, man, it's been a smooth ride ever since.
Yes, sir. That's what it's all about. Trial and error. You learn you learn by doing. Like, man, you could have read all the books and watched all the videos about how to run the party bus, but you never would have got this experience without actually going through it.
That's right. That's right.
Good stuff. So whenever I have entrepreneurs on the platform like yourself, I like to talk about three things: the aha moment, action, and audacity. You pretty much already covered your aha moment just in terms of what sparked the idea. Started out as a joke, ended up being a situation where, hey, the guy said, hey, I want to sell this bus to you. So from the time you made the decision to purchase the party bus, how long did it take you to come up with a name and get your business license and all that?
Well, the name followed a couple of businesses that I already had. I used to be a local DJ here in Montgomery. My business was called Platinum Entertainment, and I've owned a couple of bars, and I had a restaurant. So the name kind of followed all the other businesses that I had. And when I took over the bus, I purchased the bus in 21. I started working on the bus, and in 22, the bus was completed. It was ready. I did all the renovations by myself. Man, a lot of hard sweat and tears Monday through Friday. Um, Even on Sundays, just over there working on the bus, trying to get it right. A lot of YouTube videos, a lot of videos, just looking at other people's that's around the state and the country on the buses that they had. And I just kind of took their idea, put my idea in it, man, and we just went from there.
Yes, sir. It sounds good. Like that is a realistic action plan you put behind it. You watch the YouTube videos, you got inspired by others who are already doing it. And honestly, that's what it's all about, not reinventing the wheel. And just sounds like you had that drive, that that inspiration, just that determination. And I was hearing you talk about all the other previous businesses that you started. Where did you get that entrepreneurial spirit from, Mark?
Man, when I was younger, man, growing up, I always told my mom I didn't want to work for somebody because I, saw how hard my mom worked. I saw how hard my dad and my brothers worked, and I saw a lot of the frustration that they had for working for somebody. So I knew that one day I wanted to do my own thing. So I just put my mind to it, man, and I did a lot of businesses. I've had pressure washer business. I've had a trucking company. So, I just kind of dibble and dabble in a lot of things. And if it didn't work, I moved on to try something else. And if it didn't work, I continued to move on until I found something that did work. And right now, man, this bus thing is actually working.
Man, that's great to hear, man. Just seeing, like you said, just seeing what your parents went through working the 9 to 5, hitting the clock. You just realized it wasn't necessarily something you wanted to do with your life, and just having the courage to try multiple businesses, like you said, being a DJ and pressure washer business until you figured out what worked, and just being willing to just stick in there. And I appreciate you for being transparent about doing things until they worked out, because it's real easy it would have been real easy to say, well, every business I started went great, went well. I made millions of dollars and you can too, but you kept it real and I appreciate the transparency.
Oh yeah, man. A lot of things, man. If I had the determination now, that if I would have had that same just feeling and push, man, 30 years ago, I would be a millionaire right now because I was afraid. I was afraid to fail. I was afraid that if it didn't work, what would happen? So finally one day, man, I just say, you know what? You never know until you try. So I started trying some things, and fortunately, I didn't go broke trying it. I didn't make the millions of dollars that I wanted to make, but at the same time, I'm comfortable.
Right. Exactly. And that's I can tell I can hear it in your voice, like, man, the riding platinum party bus doing great things for you, and it's been good to you. And I just, like I said, I just appreciate you for going through all the businesses that you have started, and thanks again for just that transparency.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes, sir. So that last portion, audacity, it's one thing to have an idea, but and to put action behind it, but to put it out to the world to be praised or criticized, that's where the courage, the audacity comes in. And it just sounds like you gave yourself the audacity to start this riding platinum party bus the way you started all the other businesses. Is that correct?
That's correct, man. Like I said, I put my mind to it, man. And, you know, use my own funds. I didn't ask for any help. All the sweat that I did, it was mine. I didn't ask for any partnerships because if it fails, it's on me. And if it succeeds, it's on me. So, I wasn't afraid to get out there and just say, hey, let's try to make this thing work. And like I said, so far, man, it's actually been paying off. I got a big ride and August the 10th, I got a wedding. People coming out of Atlanta that's renting the bus. That I'm taking them to Greenville to a wedding. So they're gonna have the bus for a whole day. So that put a big smile on my face right there just by itself.
Yes, sir. Now that's amazing. I'm talking about you doing great things with the bus. Word that made it to Atlanta, man. You doing some great stuff, Mark.
Oh yeah, I got a son living in Atlanta, man. I don't know if you ever heard of him before. His name is Mark Anthony. He has a beauty salon called Mark Styles. He has one here in Montgomery, and he has one in Atlanta. So with his help, man, spreading the word around in the Atlanta area is kind of giving me a bigger forum on what I'm trying to do now.
Okay, I love to hear it. The family business. So your son is serving as your marketing specialist. He in Atlanta spreading that word of mouth. I love to hear it.
Oh yeah. Definitely, man. With that beauty salon that he owns, man, a lot of people come through that salon, and he don't mind spreading the word.
Absolutely, that's good stuff. So you've done great things with the party bus, and I know great things are coming down the pipeline, which leads to my next portion, vision. What are some of your short-term and long-term goals for the party bus you feel comfortable sharing?
Well, man, right now I'm 56. If God continue to give me breath and give me, determination to want to do what I'm doing, I see more buses coming. I see a newer bus coming, down the line. I see franchising. A lot of people have asked me about the party bus and asked me how could they get in on it. So, if McDonald's can franchise and any other restaurant can franchise, guess what? I can franchise too.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Those are great goals, short term, long term, and I have no doubt you'll make them all come to fruition.
Oh, definitely. I'm definitely trying, man. Got to have that faith in God. And as long as I believe in Him, I know it's going to happen.
That's it. Hey, that's all you need. With God, all things are possible.
That's right.
Yes, sir. So as we wrap up the podcast, Mark, I want to ask $1 million question. I started this podcast to highlight the greatness connected to the city of Montgomery. Whether you were born here or lived here for a significant period of your life, be it college, military, or work, you living here for a good portion of your life and living here now and operating in business. I want to ask you, Mark, what do you appreciate the most about the city of Montgomery?
Man, what I appreciate about Montgomery, man, is the people that like to invest with you, man. People that like to give you a chance of your business, to spend money with your business, and to just spread your name around when they do business with you, and they're not afraid to give you a chance on your business.
Yes, sir. Good stuff. How can the people connect with you, Mark? What are your social media handles?
Okay, you can find me at Mark A. Grant Riding Platinum at Facebook. You can catch me at Platinum 69 on YouTube. I have a couple of pages on Twitter, which will be Riding Platinum. And on that's about it right there, man. I got a couple of pages. Just when you kick in that platinum, you'll definitely find me.
Yes, sir. And of course, I'll put all the information in the description of the episode. Hey, Mark, thanks again for the conversation. I really appreciate you.
Hey, man, I really appreciate you for having me, man.
Yes, sir. Good people, that concludes another dope episode of the Gumptown Podcast. In the meantime, in between time, y'all know what to do. Be blessed, be safe, but most importantly, have the audacity to be you. Gone.